Hillary, thanks so much for being with us today. So I'm going to start with another lightning round. If you were here earlier, you might know what it is, but I don't think you were. So
I wasn't.
Okay, great.
Surprise.
So nobody in the audience, tell her. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not at all and 10 being completely, how much has AI and the corresponding energy boom changed your job?
So it would be very easy to say 10, but I'm going to say 9 because while I'm spending a tremendous amount of time on AI and optimizing for AI energy consumption, there's still some core value propositions around security and resiliency in that context for the enterprise that remain consistent.
You mean the robots aren't just going to take over?
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, good. But what is the biggest environmental and climate challenge you see emerging from this frenzy AI boom?
Yeah, I mean, I think from an enterprise perspective where I spend most of my time, everyone is working right now to focus on the energy optimization of their infrastructure.
And can you briefly explain what you mean by enterprise?
Yeah, by enterprise, I mean, large organizations that are servicing a lot of employees, that are servicing a lot of customers. And when it comes to AI, it means that's, organizations that are trying to deal with 10,000 employees or 1 million customers. And all of that means AI at scale, and therefore it means infrastructure and IT at scale. And how do you reconcile all of that?
So we're at such a frenzied state of growth. Are you worried that the industry isn't genuinely implementing practices to safeguard the environment at a moment like this?
I mean, I think there are a lot of people taking a lot of action, right? And we talk sometimes about the largest of environments to support AI, but day in and day out, we're working with clients that are looking to and that see really sustainability as the foundation for scalability in AI. You have to address the scalability to be able to cost efficiently deploy it. And so, we are working with companies that are partnered with us, everything from the chips and the transistors to the algorithms and the software and the AI models themselves, and are taking a sustainable and scalable approach.
So a big focus among stakeholders this week at Climate Week, but really writ large, is the energy cost repercussions of this boom. To what extent do energy challenges reach your desk?
They absolutely do, right? I mean, from the perspective of our cloud data centers, we're working on getting to a place this year where we have 75% of our energy supplied to those cloud facilities through renewable energy. We have data centers already that are 100% renewable energy based. And then when it deals with clients that are outside of the cloud, the cost of energy and energy consumption, reducing carbon footprint are absolutely considerations. Even financial services institutions that are using mainframes to use AI for fraud detection and things like that, by upgrading their infrastructure, they're getting upwards of 60% improvement in energy efficiency. And so modernization of infrastructure right now and accommodating this era of AI is as fundamental as we as consumers think about, should I insulate my house? That seems like an obvious answer. And yes, you need to move your IT into a position to deal with this current era and do it efficiently.
Is there a risk, with energy efficiency, there's this term, I think it's something called like the rebound effect, where if you're being more energy efficient, well, I'll just use more energy. Is that, in this moment of frenzied growth, is that happening?
I think in some cases there is an opportunity to do more if you tune up your energy consumption. But I do think that in most cases it's a matter of taking inventory, setting up a sustainable environment, and taking actions to reduce at this point in time. But with every single AI project that people debate implementing in their IT, there's obviously a very clear ROI calculation, and they're looking, at the energy efficiency, at the infrastructure efficiency, at the data center efficiency, et cetera, in order to make those decisions. And so it kind of comes on a project by project basis, I would say.
So throughout today, we've been talking a lot about AI, but also a lot about other things. And one way I'm thinking about it in my head is that we're the sort of two parallel focuses for me as a journalist anyway, and I'm guessing for a lot of others in the room. And one is the AI implications for energy and climate and otherwise. But the other is, of course, the changes that are being brought on by this new Trump administration. To what extent are you engaging with the federal government or the state government? So I guess that's my first question, and then I'll follow from that. But just to let you answer that, to what degree are you engaging with them?
Yeah, so I personally, in my role, not so much directly. I mean, I think, but if we look at, if I can take a step out of this country and go globally with this week that we have here, we are seeing governments seeing AI and concerned about the efficiency of AI as useful for projects in a wide variety of areas, right? I mean, if we look at the UAE, they've partnered with us to use our AI in order to look at heat spots within urban areas. And they've actually been able to reduce temperature by 3 degrees Celsius, which is pretty impressive. You know, government in Kenya working with us to look at deforestation and planning reforestation, again, using AI-based models. So I think in general, as we look at this from a global technology perspective, there's absolutely opportunities for governments, you know, to engage in this topic.
That got me thinking about, so, you know, again, we focus a lot on the impact of AI on our energy systems, but you just raised an incredibly important point, which is the benefits AI can bring to these issues.
Absolutely, yeah.
So a quick raise of hands for the audience. Raise your hand if you've asked ChatGPT or another AI model something about itself, i.e. how can AI help with X? Somebody done that? Okay, a few of us are admitting it. I've done it. And so my question for you, Hillary, is how can AI help itself be better to its environment and our environment?
Yeah, and again, answering from the IT lens, I think there's a tremendous amount of work going on in this space, right? Not only are predictive AI models being used for energy grid optimization and planning of power and optimization of that, but within the data center, AI is pervasive now. It's being used to do power and thermal shifting. We have capabilities that are deployed on products, monitoring workloads, determining when the most efficient time is, spinning up extra infrastructure only when it's needed. So you're not consuming power, waiting around for a burst of activity, but you know that people tend to come online at a certain time or you need to process a batch of work overnight. And so that kind of just-in-time computation, spinning things up proactively. So I think AI is being used extensively to monitor and optimize data centers that are also delivering AI and delivering other workloads. And it's an exciting time because that means that you can optimize the thing that we're all concerned about the energy efficiency of.
A report just came out, I think today, if today's Monday, right? Yeah, today's still Monday.
Still Monday.
At CSIS about the benefits of AI to the electricity grid. Mm-hmm. And in there it talks about how AI is kind of a black box. Raise your hand if you think AI is a black box. None of us really understand how it works, let's be honest. Maybe you, Hillary, and a couple other people. Can you help us understand, like, is there a way for us sort of lay people to understand what it is, so therefore we can understand the environmental impacts of it?
Yeah, I always try to assure people it's just math, and
well, that doesn't help. I
and that may not help, but I think you can think of it in a couple ways, right? So it's a bunch of math, specifically matrix multiplies, if we want to go there. But
I never even took that class.
Yeah, it's a bunch of math, and it runs on particular types of computer chips. So today we have accelerators that run that kind of math more efficiently, and that's part of the conversation. About becoming more efficient with AI is using the right kind of computer. It's not exactly the same as the chips in your cell phone. The cell phones also now have little accelerators in them. And so this acceleration for AI, this special computer chip, so to say, for AI are in everything from your cell phone to your laptop to your mainframe to cloud computers these days. And when organizations are looking at how to do AI and scale AI, they have choices going all the way down to the silicon and the transistors and how that AI is done efficiently. They have choices up at the software. And at the software level, things like a platform approach to AI, meaning AI not just being something that lives in one place as a giant model, but AI that can be deployed across that full landscape of where there is computing, can help energy optimize, right? Because you can imagine if the AI should be running on your tablet there, that's much more energy efficient than it running off somewhere far away where there's a lot of communication to it. So taking a platform approach from a software perspective is also a really important part of this journey. For enterprises that are looking to be energy efficient. And there's a lot of options these days in that full spectrum of where that computing can happen that gives you those answers to the questions that you're asking AI.
So this might be a little bit outside your wheelhouse, but I see if you can touch on it. a big component of the energy consumption of AI is the air conditioning that is required. Is that something that reaches your desk at all? And how can we make that more efficient?
Yeah,
you could turn it down in here, first of all. That might save us some emissions.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's interesting because we talk about often when you walk into a facility that's well optimized, a data center, you think of it, think of a football field and a whole bunch of computers laid out in it. And yeah, there's air conditioning running in there. But the air conditioning is proportionate to how efficient those systems are. We work with clients that are looking to reduce their energy footprint and moving from the systems area I work in, the power systems from Power 9 to Power 11, our most recent one, you get a 60% automatic savings in energy consumption, which means you can drop your air conditioning bill. There's less cooling required to keep that system running in a healthy way. And so upgrading infrastructure, using the right accelerator chips, as I mentioned, the right computing to do AI efficiently, all those choices can feed directly into what your air conditioning bill is going to be, what the water bill and water utilization and things like that. So we can talk about, saving hundreds of, metric tons of carbon or translate that energy efficiency into other values. But AC absolutely in cooling and data centers is directly proportionate to the choices that you make and the optimizations in this space.
Is it sort of like a building that's well insulated doesn't need as much air conditioning or heating
Absolutely.
as a less well insulated?
Absolutely.
So in terms of the efficiency of the chips.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to keep the servers at a certain temperature where they run well. When they get hot, things, don't run as well and don't run as efficiently. So the reason that computing environments for AI are kept cool is actually to keep everything operating well. But if it's a well-designed system and you've made good choices and you're using modern infrastructure, you can lower the amount of cooling that's needed overall.
You mentioned water. Fun fact, we all learned in our last session with Katrina that it's the most used product in the world, and then cement is second. I think I have that right. So tell us how water fits into this and what IBM is doing on this front.
Yeah, so I mean, we have for a very long time worked on efficient cooling systems. And so for our clients, for example, that have high-end systems, mainframes and things like that, the cooling systems are very efficient and intended to kind of keep everything at that really great operating point. I think the sort of ultra dense and sort of high water kind of environments are more associated to what you might consider a consumer AI. And in enterprise AI, I think things are generally a lot more focused on efficiency because I said you're trying to have something that's affordable ultimately in terms of scaling and deploying AI.
So can you maybe go a little bit deeper on how water exactly is used?
Yeah, so water is a really efficient vehicle for removing heat from things, right? So jump into a pool and you're going to feel cool pretty quickly versus sitting in a room, right? And so think of that same kind of thing when you're trying to cool off electronics. Water can be a really easy way, an efficient way actually to remove heat.
And the more efficient the chips are, the less hot.
Exactly, that's exactly right. So it all ties back to that conversation about designing for purpose, picking software that enables you to deploy your AI on the right kind of infrastructure and the right most efficient locations to minimize communication and data movement and data traffic and all of that stuff.
So what's the next frontier of this challenge?
I think that it's really a time for organizations to be inventorying where they're at and considering upgrades, to be completely honest, right? I think that AI has been a bit of a wake-up moment for saying, hey, there's a big opportunity here. There's a need to deliver this technology. It can do everything from make consumers happy because they can answer questions to help with customer service, detect fraud, lots of other things, as I mentioned, urban hotspots and deforestation analysis and things like that. So there's many different topics that it can be brought to bear on, but doing so in a responsible way can be the foundation for growth. Ultimately, the sustainability conversation in IT for AI is the way that you can grow forward as a company and be effective in this era to your customers, to your employees, with your business overall. And so this just brings a moment, I think, in which many are reconsidering and needing to upgrade their infrastructure to meet this moment in a sustainable, responsible way.
In our final moments, we are going to play a game of Would You Rather.
Okay.
Okay. Some of the audience members know the drill, but you don't, and that's why it's fun. Would you rather partner more with governments or other corporations? You have to choose.
I have to choose, gosh. I think that there is a ton of innovation coming right now from different corporate partnerships, and I think that can service the needs of governments that are looking to advance.
That's not really answering the question, but I'm gonna let you have it, Hillary. Would you rather spend an hour in Climate Week in UNGA traffic or 45 minutes on the subway?
Oh, 45 on the subway, and I came here on the subway as well.
Good for you. Would you rather have an AI model that always agrees with you or never agrees with you?
I'm gonna go with never, because thought-provoking is really important.
Yeah, and I think the latest version of ChatGPT has been less agreeable, which I appreciate. Would you rather see the past or change the future?
Change the future, 100%.
Well, Hillary, that is all the time we have for today, but thank you so much for joining Axios.
Thank you so much for having me.